going to start my own business. A strip club for women.
It was super fun to watch them, quote unquote, flex that muscle.
Welcome to Chippendales.
I mean, it's like an actor's fantasy. When you're like 10 years old, imagining you're being an actor, that's what I'm imagining myself walking in cool clothes through a crowded airport, like in slow motion. Like, it was so fun.
Cuffs and collars.
And they didn't mess up once. Like 5 months of shooting, hundreds of takes.
Broadway, baby.
Not once did they mess up a single dance move.
Velkommen til Moovy TV, og velkommen til Chippendales. Hvem mindre du har boet under en sten de sidste 40 år, så har du stensikkert hørt om den letpåklædte mandlige dansetrup. Men måske kender du ikke historien om Chippendales skabelse, og det er faktisk en forbavsende blodig og brutal fortælling, indsvøbt i mord, magtmisbrug og jalousi, som nu bliver fortalt i en underholdende og stjernespækket miniserie.
Please welcome Mr. Chippendales himself, Nanjiani.
Chippendales is my creation. I hired him.
You and me stick together, or we go to war. It's not a threat, it's a promise.
He's gonna walk all over you. Every cent I have, I've put into this club. I need this.
Welcome to Chippendales startede på Disney Plus den 11. januar, og vi har talt med seriens 3 hovedrolleindhavere. Kumail Nanjiani er en af Hollywoods sjoveste mænd, hvilket han blandt andet understregede i den blændende romantiske komedie The Big Sick.
I've been dating this girl. She's white.
A white girl? Hey, you can't look like you and you're a white girl.
It's okay. We hate terrorists.
Som faktisk var baseret på den sande historie om forholdet mellem Nanjiani og hans hustru Emily. I Welcome to Chippendales spiller Nanjiani den indiske entreprenør Sumin Banerjee, der kalder sig selv for Steve, og som udlever den amerikanske drøm, da han kickstarter den første Chippendales natklub i Los Angeles.
Is this some kind of joke?
Not at all.
I mean, do you like looking at naked dudes?
I have something to tell you, Paul. Women get horny.
Welcome to Chippendales.
Og undervejs bliver Banerjee forelsket i revisoren Irene, som spilles af Annaleigh Ashford, en af de seneste års helt store prisbelønnede Broadway-stjerner. Men Banerjees drøm udvikler sig til et mareridt, da Chippendales-showets koreograf, Nick DeNoia, begynder at fylde mere og mere i rampelyset, og de to mænds egoer kommer på kollisionskurs.
Mr. Banerjee, this is the FBI.
Og den både kompromisløse og karismatiske DeNoia spilles af australske Murray Bartlett, som er blevet en af klodens helt store tv-stjerner, efter hans fantastiske og Emmy-belønnede indsats som hotelbestyreren i første sæson af The White Lotus.
Please enjoy.
Hi Murray.
Hi Johan, good to meet you.
Good to meet you too, albeit virtually. So nice to see you, especially. I mean, you're Mr. Chippendales, of course. So
don't tell Steve Banerjee.
I am the boss. This is my club, and you are my employee.
I was just about to say I'm going to interview Kumail in a few minutes, and I won't tell him that I called you that, obviously. I don't want him to cut off my interview very quickly. But you're my favorite part of the show, actually. You're my favorite performance in the show. You're my favorite character. And I mean, Nick DeNoia obviously isn't just a character. He was also, of course, a very real person. And I'd love to hear, for you as an actor, what sort of research did you delve into? Not only who Nick was as a person, but also perhaps his mannerisms and his way of talking.
Yeah, you know, it's like it feels like a real responsibility when you have a real person to play. However, you know, our show is inspired by the real characters and inspired by the real story. So we had some license to play and imagine, you know, different aspects of them. But it was fantastic to have these like jumping off points of having, you know, footage of the actual man who just, to me, seems he's such an extraordinary man and such a creative visionary, and to be able to try and, you know, capture some of the essence of that man with actual footage was really fun for me. And he's such a dynamic, fun character, so that was cool. But also, you know, we had a great team of writers, and to be able to, you know, imagine and dive into what might have been his, you know, the private Nick DeNoia, because we don't really have any existing information about that. And I think that's, you know, it's a fascinating thing about these characters who, you know, have a very sort of dynamic public face. Who are they behind the scenes? And a lot of those characters have like a real deep vulnerability and you know, there's a whole lot going on underneath. So to be able to explore that was really fantastic, and just to sort of merge those two things, I guess, of the character that we were imagining and, you know, taking some of the essential parts of the energy of this character from the existing man was a great sort of composite and really sort of fun to kind of put together.
Well, you know, sometimes when you play real people from real life stories, you're navigating what the audience already knows about them. In this case, the audience doesn't know anything about them, and neither did we, because we couldn't find any information about them. So we really had an open book to kind of play with, and we just really wanted to make sure that we set up some really complicated characters. And for me, as a woman playing somebody who navigated a world of men during a time where the patriarchy was thriving, I just really wanted to make sure that she felt strong but also under the thumb of her times. And she's really connected to this man that she loves, but it's also her business partner.
I have big plans for the calendars. I want to go national starting next year. And with our own printing press, we'll be able to print as many calendars as we want. In business, that's known as controlling the means of production.
Steve, I didn't run the numbers.
I ran the numbers. It works. It's really good. I'm a king. You're my queen.
Yeah, it was really important that we made sure that she loved him so then the audience could love him. And Kumail's playing such a complicated, dark person, but he's so good at acting and he's so lovable and likable that the audience loves him and likes him even when they shouldn't, which means he did a really good job.
I didn't realize it until we actually started working together. I was like, oh, this is where he's human. This is where we see like the good part of him, you know. This is the only time he's comfortable is when he's with Irene. And that really was something that I didn't realize. You know, I didn't sit down and think intellectually, this relationship is the thing that's going to make him feel really comfortable and like himself. But it was her work that really organically made that happen, and it grows, you know, their relationship grows as the episodes go, and really that's really all Annaleigh. You know it. Don't deny it. Don't. Yes. You know. You said that to me last week. You were like, it was my work that makes Steve feel like a human being.
It was all because of me.
And speaking of energy and fun, I mean, this is probably going to be one of the most random questions you'll ever get. But,
okay.
I mean, I think my favorite shot in this whole show, and it's also very strategically placed in the trailer, is obviously a highlight. It's just the scene of you walking through the airport in slow motion, wearing those awesome glasses with the music pumping. It's so cool. But I just want to ask, like, how is that, just shooting a shot like that where you're around 100 people, you're walking in normal speed, and you're trying to bring that cool factor without the music, with all these people standing around? I mean, how is that?
I mean, it's like an actor's fantasy. Like, that's how you, when you're like 10 years old, imagining you're being an actor. Well, for me anyway, that's what I'm imagining myself walking in cool clothes through a crowded airport, like in slow motion. Like, it's just... It was so fun, and there's a part of you that's like, I don't know that I'm really this cool. So you got to like kind of try and push that out of the way and just like inhabit it. But that's, you know, that's the joy of being an actor, to be able to kind of lean into those moments. And that, yeah, for me too, I feel like that's probably, I haven't seen the whole show yet, but I feel like that's going to be probably one of my favorite shots, just because it's like, it's this dreamy sort of actor fantasy, you know, like getting to live out my childhood dreams of, you know, like being like a cool character in a film, you know?
Yeah. And of course, getting to sport some of the coolest glasses in television history. After, in looking, you're probably sporting the greatest mustache in television history. So really checking off some major boxes there.
Right, I know, really cool. I mean, you know, that's sort of, it's the gift of a show like this is like, you know, telling a story in the 70s and 80s. I mean, it's just like, it's the greatest sort of excuse to dress up, you know, in those cool clothes. So, yeah, it was just like super, super fun.
Kumail, I have to ask you because, I mean, you trained for months for this amazing dance scene in Eternals. I mean, you worked your ass off to get ripped.
I didn't know that.
Please tell me that on the cutting room floor, there's this amazing dream sequence where you get to tear off some breakaway pants and dance as well.
I mean, it's funny you bring that up. That really was something that was discussed. Having a fantasy sequence where I do the dance and you dance and sing too.
I was stretching.
We were all
for months.
Yeah, she was stretching for months. We really were going to do it at one point until I said, well, you guys can do it. I won't. I'm not going to do that. We decided against it. But it's funny you say that there was going to be like an all that jazz type of ending to the show at one point.
Annaleigh, of course, you have lots of, amazing experience from the stage. I mean, both acting, but also very much dancing. I mean, you've been in so many great shows. You've been in Hair, you've been in Rent. I mean, you won a Tony Award. So could you resist giving any sort of pointers to the Chippendale dances during the shoot?
Actually, many of the Chippendales dancers were friends of mine from the land of Broadway. There's a couple Broadway folks in this show. Not only are they incredibly gifted dancers, they're professionals, but they're also wonderful actors, and it was super fun to watch them quote unquote flex that muscle. It was also really fun to just get to see them do their thing over and over. And people would be like, how are they doing? Kumail would be like, they just keep doing it over and over. I said, well, yeah, they're professionals.
And they didn't mess up once. 5 months of shooting, hundreds of days.
Broadway, baby.
Not once did they mess up a single dance move. They worked really hard.
They come from Broadway.
But it's from Broadway.
Yeah, okay.
All of this, no. No, I don't think
It
you
is
understand.
not irrespectable. It is sick and demented.
Oh,
No.
It's not. It's
There's
so
a
sweet.
playfulness to
Yeah.
it, a
Sort of
tongue-in-cheek
tongue-in-cheek,
quality,
yeah.
that undercuts the violence.
I do not know what that means.
Well, you'll understand better when you see it.
I don't want to see it, and I'm not going to see it.
Both of you have such huge comedic chops. I mean, you've both made my funny bones ache from laughing in the past.
Sometimes just watching them eat every night makes me want to gouge my eyes out.
But your scenes in the show are obviously, most of the time, they're pretty intense. They're very dramatic.
Yeah.
So that must have been interesting, sort of reining in sort of some of your more comedic sensibilities. And I hope you at least got to laugh a bit together off camera.
I mean, yes. I mean, Kumail is one of the most naturally funny people I've ever met. So there was a lot of joy and laughter on the set. But, like that shot that we were talking about of me, walking in slow motion through the airport, we got to inhabit these cool characters and have these great sort of scenes where we're going head to head. So that also is kind of an actor's dream. And it's, it was so wonderful for me watching, Kumail, who I've seen do such, do such great comedic work, to see him transform into this character. And there are moments of humor with Steve Banerjee, but also real kind of darkness and intensity. So for me, that was so great to watch and to kind of, go up against, sort of playing these scenes head to head. It was great writing and just great tension between these characters to play.
Yeah, and of course there are some scenes that go from one extreme to the other, like the snowball fight, which goes very nicely from the humor to the sort of sudden intensity of it all.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the writing, and one of the things that I really appreciated in terms of the writing was when you hear there's a show coming about the Chippendales, you can easily imagine that it could easily end up as something that's, a sexually gratuitous amount of excess. But what I really love is how enormously respectful and stylishly it depicted, homoeroticism and both sexual and platonic love between men. And again, in a very, very respectful, very stylish kind of way. Was that something that was very important to you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think with my character, Nick Denoyer, particularly, the relationship that he has with Bradford is, in many ways, Nick Denoyer's sort of arc in the story is quite tragic, but his tragedy wasn't about his sexuality or, that we wanted to show this man had he had joy in his life and he found intimacy with this other guy, and that was, a part of who he was. The sort of tragedy is more connected to his unbridled ambition and coupled with Steve Banerjee's unbridled ambition. So, yeah, and I think, there's always, for me, a responsibility with intimate scenes, and especially when it's a gay character, because sometimes gay characters are misunderstood or there's preconceptions that go in about gay characters, to bring just authenticity and humanity and reality to those scenes is something that I really love, and we had a wonderful team of writers who were interested in doing that. So, and a great, I got to work with Andrew Reynolds. It's a great team of actors here who really wanted to create three-dimensional characters and really explore the different aspects of these characters in a very sort of human, sort of well-rounded way. And so, yeah, that certainly was something we were aware of with the intimacy between these characters.
Cool. Well, Murray, I've run out of time, but it's been a pleasure. Also, got to say, as a huge sci-fi nut, loved you in Farscape.
Oh my
it's a long time ago,
God!
but yeah.
That's going back.
You with me there, Mama Bear?
Oh yeah, Farscape. I'm reading you loud and clear.
Authorizing flight computer to initiate acceleration sequencing now.
Roger, Farscape. You are go for insertion procedure.
And are you a gamer? Have you played The Last of Us?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that. That's one of my favorite games. I've played it through 4 times, so I wanted, But I hope to talk to you about that.
Another time. That's going to be epic. Yeah.
But it's been a pleasure, you guys. I'm being asked to wrap up, so I'd just quickly like to hear. I mean, Kumail, again, you've been in the X-Files.
I heard a noise over there. They're right over here.
You've been in Star Wars.
You're gonna help me find this girl I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You've been in Simpsons.
Just like you, they all went stupid viral in a bad way.
You've been in the MCU. And I just wanted to hear, what's the next sort of pop cultural phenomenon that you want to check off your box?
Yeah, when's the next action figure coming out?
I'm not gonna. I have a thing in my head that I want to do, but I'm not gonna say it and jinx it. But hopefully it happens, and then you'll know exactly what it was.
So many jokes there. So many jokes. What's he gonna be?
I'm hoping for Star Trek, obviously.
I love Star Trek. Dream come true it would be.
Cool. Well,
why do I sound like Yoda there? Dream come true it would be.
He gave it away.
Impossible to see. The future is.
You're the next Yoda.
I'm playing Yoda.
Who's the next Yoda?
Yeah.
I can't believe you gave it away.
I'm gonna play Teen Yoda. We've seen Baby Yoda.
Teen Yoda.
And old Yoda.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for talking to us.
I have everything. I regret nothing. I'm going to burn his place to the ground.
You a bad man, Mr. Banerjee.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Are those all DVDs behind you, or are those books?
Actually, those are all Blu-rays. Just about 3,000 of them. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Emily should get wallpaper like that.
Oh my God. Are they alphabetical?
They are actually. Even though I actually also just want to show you, obviously, you have the Kumail Nanjiani box set, of course, with the Big Sick, Eternals, the 10th season of the X-Files, and Annaleigh also. Most of what the stuff you've done on streaming is on streaming, so, but I know you have very small parts of them. Of course, Rachel Getting Married, Sex and the City, the movie of Frozen. Of course, so I do have your work.
Yay! That's so cool.
I love buying physical media. It's my favorite. I just moved and it was a pain, but I love having the thing I can hold. Because sometimes stuff disappears from streaming.
Yeah.
That too.